Hey everyone, so welcome back to my Content Club podcasts. The first one went down really well, so thank you to everyone who not just listened in, but those of you who contacted me to tell me what you thought of it. It was great. Got some really good constructive criticism and some really good feedback as well. So on podcast number 2, I'm going to be talking about why creating content is just so intimidating for some people. Not everyone is like me and does it for a living, and therefore it's easy. So it was one of the things that when I was chatting to a lot of people about their content and creating content and blog posts and social media and all of that kind of thing, what they said was that the biggest problem was actually just getting started and just getting over that initial scary hurdle of, what to do. Because, people like me, when we're advising, we say, oh, write a blog post, they say, and we'll tell you that, it can help to bring new customers, it can help forge relationships, it can help build trust and brand awareness and all of those other things. But really, when it comes down to it, I suppose we don't really think about what that actually means to someone who doesn't do it for a living. And so that's what I kind of wanted to sort of look at today, because for me it's easy, it is something that I can just churn out, but that's because I do it every day. So one of the biggest problems that most people have when they try to engage with this new trend of content heavy marketing is wondering what to write, how to write it, where to put it, and why anyone on earth would want to read it in the first place. And therefore, it's understandable that, these writing the blog posts and the email marketing content ends up getting shoved to the bottom of the priority list, usually after several failed attempts to write something that might work or might not. So at this point, people usually do one of two things. They either come knocking on my door and one of my team begin to craft a fantastic piece of content that they can be proud of. But it comes at a cost, and some people don't have the budget. It's not a massive cost, but it is a cost. And we have to take into consideration that a lot of small companies just don't have that expendable income. So then the task gets shoved to the bottom of the pile. That's the other option, and it gets carefully filed under complete head melter. Total head melter. Let's try that with a bottle of wine or something along those lines. And usually what happens is it means there's no chance of it getting done whatsoever. So why are we so afraid of content marketing? What is holding us back? What is holding, these ideas and things back? I would do idea clinics and inspiration sessions with my clients, and always around the issue of content. It comes up time and time again. Most people just don't understand that the content isn't supposed to be selling anything, that technically you should be trying to educate, inform or entertain. There's other things you could be doing with it, but those would be my main 3: educating people, informing people or entertaining them. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not going to pretend that the purpose of my personal new stream of marketing isn't designed to encourage people to book me and to book my company and come and engage with our services. Of course it is, but we want to kind of give people an insight into the industry, an insight into what content creation really is, and if from there it helps, then cool. I'm cool with that. So some of the reasons that content might be intimidating. Well, the first one, I think, is because it's new. For most people, that idea of content creation is relatively new to them, and therefore navigating it can be a little bit daunting. That's normal. What I always say is just don't freak out, because the other side of fear is success. So then you've got the lack of ideas. If someone asks you to talk about your area of expertise, there's no doubt you would talk their leg off. Certainly, when it comes to content, I can talk forever. Promise. There'll be a lot of these podcasts. And even if someone asked you to write a seminar or a workshop or do a training session, you'd probably be able to rattle all of that out too, because it's all quite instinctual. It's what you do. It's what you've been used to. So why then would you not know what to write in a blog post or in a piece of content? You know, sometimes the writing of the blog post isn't the problem. It's coming up with that concept that is giving you the bother. And sometimes people try to overcomplicate it. And usually it's the most simplistic ideas that actually create really good content. Then one of the scariest ones, and one of the ones that seems to get an awful lot of my clients, is a complete lack of confidence, you know. And you might have, while in practice, you might have bags and bags and bags of confidence when delivering in your area of expertise. Having to write something down is not just having to commit to what you've written, but it leaves you open to a lot of, I suppose, professional criticism. And some people don't want to put themselves forward for that. Some people don't want to put themselves out there. And I get it, I understand. But at some point, you're going to have to leap off the cliff. So where do you start? Well, not knowing where to start is a massive problem with a lot of our clients. And that's why I would advocate starting with an issue or an element of the business that you want to convey, and then creating a nice snappy title around that. Think about what your customers want, not what you want to tell them, but what they want to hear. What's bothering them? What's their problem? What can you solve for them? What information can you give them that they maybe didn't have before? Once you have that and you've got it written down, or you've got some sketched ideas or whatever, you'll find it much easier to put the ideas down on paper. And then, of course, our biggest thing is the lack of time. Don't be deluded into thinking that you need to spend hours and hours writing and rewriting and traumatising over these blog posts. You don't. People will be reading it on the move. They'll prefer to have something that's imperfect than nothing at all. I remember a good friend of mine, Christine Watson from Watson & Co Chartered Marketing and trainingmatchmaker.com, once said to me, continual improvement is better than delayed perfection. And I absolutely agree. And another client of mine, I overheard her say to an intern, don't strive for perfection, strive for excellence. And I love that idea, you know, this idea that perfection doesn't exist, you know, so since we can't get perfection, let's go for excellence. So for me, it's very much a case of just getting started, getting off the starting blocks, writing a few rubbish blog posts and putting a few bits of content up there that's just not perfect, because otherwise you're going to sit around waiting for the right time, in the right manner, in the right way, and you could end up losing some really cool opportunities. What I would say is that one of the biggest successes for me in terms of my clients is those who are willing to share personalised stories, either from themselves or their clients, or experiences. I saw recently someone on LinkedIn owns they go out round businesses and they fix things, and they happen to share something that was really, really bad. It was just a picture, and it showed something that wasn't up to code, wasn't up to standard, and they were able to talk about the dangers, and they were able to talk very passionately about that. To me, that is fantastic content. The picture looked terrible, but the picture looked terrible because it had to, because it was conveying something that was dangerous. And so for me, it's so important to look at everything around it. So I would say, you know, you want to entertain, you want to inform, or you want to educate, and you want to just get off the starting blocks. Of course, you can give us a call. You know, no point in having a podcast if I'm not going to do a shameless plug. But that is what Excalibur Press do for a lot of our clients. Some of our clients, we don't actually write the stuff. We just come up with the ideas and help with the strategy. And other ones, we do the full work. So we will write all the content, and in some cases we'll disseminate it as well, distributing via social media or through the press. So you can give me a wee call on 07982 628911, or you can email me, tina@excaliburpress.co.uk. Of course, if you like this podcast, please do follow it wherever you found it, or link with me on social. You can get me on Instagram at Tina Belfast, Twitter, Tina Calder, and Facebook, Tina Calder Journal. And aside from that, I would really love it if you would pop on to contentclub.excaliburpress.co.uk, and you'll be able to find a lot more top tips and information about content creating and blogging, writing, corporate writing, all of that kind of stuff. And we're doing an awful lot more over the coming weeks. So thank you so much for listening in for another podcast. I'm so pleased. I've recorded this one on the same day that I did the first, but I'm going to be careful and not put them out too soon. And again, for all your feedback, please do pop it through. I would be very grateful. Thank you. Bye bye.